All right. Well, welcome everyone to our first annual, well, probably not annual, sorry, misspoke, but our first professional development session for the AIAEE calendar year. We are very thankful to have Susanna Winden. She was actually accepted for professional development at last year's conference, and we wanted to be sure that she was able to share this important professional development workshop that we find highly valuable. So Susanna, thank you for spending your day, part of your day with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise. I, again, will be monitoring the chat for you, but I welcome you to open the floor and you should be able to share your screen and do anything as needed.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys see my screen. Am I correct? Great. Thank you so much for the introduction, Leslie. So I'm going to talk today about managing stress on the farm. This is the extension program that I developed a few years ago on the response of my ag leadership survey. And it was actually successfully delivered in the Pennsylvania for farm community, and as well as it was presented at the National Agribility Workshop. I'm PI of Agribility Program, and we work a lot with farmers, especially those who experiencing any disabled condition or health-related condition, but still would like to continue stay in productive agriculture. So there was several reasons why I developed this program, and during this session, I'm gonna basically talk about two important things. So first one, I would love to provide some background information about stress and symptoms. And I would tell you that many things I didn't know myself before. And the second part of this presentation would be focusing more on the some tips and strategies that help farmers to build their resilience. Of course, I'm going to talk about farm community, right? This is extension program. However, many of us today who are present in this workshop or webinar can utilize some helpful information for their personal life in their work environment as well. So let's just generally look at farm community of farmers, and it is a not easy occupation. It's a very stressful occupation. Why is it? Just look at the regular farmer who really have a lot of hats, right? A farmer could be a veterinarian at the same time. He's making his bookkeeping, right? And at the same time, he's a mechanic. He needs to think about a lot of things, including that being a parent or grandparent or a child of their parent. And at the same time, he or she is a friend and spouse. And so, there are so many things that person need to really taking care. And sometime or some days, nothing seems to go right. So simple example, I would like that you basically follow me right now, because I'm going to go back when we're going to talk about the resilience. I'm going to go back to this simple example, like this is a early morning, 6 a.m. You cannot find the key, right? And you may receive some call from dealership about maybe not the good news about your farm equipment, or simply you face and open your website and face that unhappy customer wrote maybe not a positive review, and share some maybe not some negative experience. So there could be a lot of things that can increase the stress level of anyone. So when I start to look the definition of the stress, which is pretty much rely when I look at my basic leadership program under interpersonal leadership development. So there are a lot of different definition of the stress. And I decided to pick this one very easy and simple to better understand when I work with farm community. So stress is a body's reaction to harmful situation. And many times what we cannot control cause us to feel the most stress. So I would like to right now to invite the audience and my colleagues, just share your personal experience. What does it mean for you to be stressed? And please use a chat box to provide your answer. We will have today several activities, and I would encourage you to do these activities with me. So I guess that will give you in the future some tool that you can use in the future to manage your stress level. I cannot focus on one thing because I have a lot of things in my mind. Yes, cannot control, overlook, or overbooked, too scared to be effective. Stress to me means feeling out of control. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Feeling very tense. Yes, of course, especially when we talk right now, we have a lot of people from academia, right? We have a lot of things to do, research and extension work, and being maybe in grad program at the same time. So there are so many things to do in the very little time that many times bring us off, like we feel really stressed. I'm in surviving mode all the time. Yeah, I totally understand. I guess we all face this situation, and everything depends how can we cope, right, with stress to move forward with our life and be efficient in different areas of our life, including our work environment and our personal life, communicating with our stakeholders, kind of not be stressed because having so many things at the same time to do. So let's discuss a little bit about the effects of stress. So when persons stressed out, they automatically, we don't pay attention, but we have that change the way how we think. In the literature, I found that a person experiencing having the tunnel vision, and many of you who put this information in the chat, I kind of related to these things, what I found in the literature and sharing right now with you. So person have the tunnel vision that basically does not allow them to explore alternative, and other options to think differently. So person more focusing on threat, become more suspicious and having difficulty to handle any situation. And many oftentimes we see that person misinterpret social interaction and overthink kind of in this head, drawing different picture, let's put it like this way. And we all know that stress brings that negative effect, and many times it occurs suddenly. If we all knew about that stress is coming, right, we probably would have a chance to be prepared better, especially when we talk about occupation like agriculture. So for farmer, let's just imagine farmer woke up in the morning and saw the frost on the ground, and immediately he think about his orchard, right? Let's say, or like vegetables or other crops. So just think about the level of stress that person experiencing in this time. And another thing, stress build rapidly. Sometimes like we just have several things at the same time, that little things here and there to bring us and increase the stress level as well. So another thing like stress has that snowball effect, right? And when stress, we're experiencing stress more than few hours a day and maybe several days a week, we should consider that we have that chronic stress, and all the things how we can reflect and address and cope, right? That's what we're going to talk about in the second part of this presentation. So let's go through them very quickly through their symptoms, and I would like to introduce you to the several type of symptoms. The first one is emotional stress symptoms. So when person feel, you may don't think and maybe not notice that, but when person feel overwhelmed, and some of you put this in the chat box, and have difficult time to even relax and quiet your mind. Even in the late of the evening, you cannot really even sleep, right? So you that's how emotional, we have that emotional stress symptoms that affect us kind of neglecting this situation, that lowering our self-esteem, we feel very moody, frustrated. So the next one is physical stress symptoms that affect, for example, like I said earlier, like in your sleep habits, and you have low energy, you have like feel very tense, and someone put this in the chat as well. I saw that grinding teeth, and sweaty hands and feet. So sometimes we think, oh, what's happening with me? But we don't actually every time relate to the stress that we have experiencing this time, or maybe just a day or 2 days ago. So even that was a huge surprise for me. Cold and infections could be easily happen when you are under stress. Cognitive stress symptoms, again, it's inability to focus, have racing thoughts, cannot feel like disorganized. You forget things or do things in different orders, cannot concentrate and become, I would say, more pessimistic and have that poor judgment. And the last one is, I would say, or the worst one is when it starts to affect your behavior, right, in the long run. When you procrastinate, you feel like you don't want to do things, you don't want to get up in the morning and maybe do some exercise, or you cannot concentrate of your work, what you need to do. You, like we indicated earlier about changing in sleep habits as well, that became a part of your kind of daily issues, right? And it's not good when it starts to affect the way how you used to eat, and how you used to rest. And the worst case scenario, that's drug and alcohol use. So we see that all the consequences of the stress have this very negative effect, right? And I would like to mention here, so we have that negative effect on our work environment. Being a PI of agribility program, I would tell you, so there is a lot of things that we're working with farmers relates to prevent that secondary injuries, especially when person under stress. And that's tell us that it's definitely work safety issues when we talk about agricultural industries, right? Just think about how many children even have been killed at the farm because of parents being super stressed, overstressed, and when just operating that huge farm equipment couldn't basically look at on the mirrors, it didn't see the little child behind. So I would tell you that it is extremely important that how can we really work with our stress and just acknowledge even that we have that issues in the farm, because when talking about the farmer population, farmer profile, I think many of you would be agree with me that we used to kind of have that bias that is a very strong person, and just have never have issue, maybe have an issue, but could able to manage everything, and I would like to share with you one of the story that few years ago, agribility for Pennsylvania, we hosted regional workshop, and we invited people to have a trip and visit our one of our client, and he had, I would say, very average size of farm and had sheep and other small livestock. And he said that he is extremely stressed because, like from the situation that his son does not want to take over his farm and decided to build his new career in the Harrisburg area. And also he has by himself very serious health issues and have several accidents in the past. That's how agribility helped him with different assistive technology in agriculture. However, he mentioned several times, I wish we have the stress related programs for farmers because many times people basically not accepting the fact that farmer may have a stress and should to deal with that. So we see that start to affect not just in work environment, such as managing the projects on the farm, doing this spontaneous decision, and I said earlier about different accident that might happen. So definitely that consequences of stress behind the work environment, we see a lot on the person health related to mental health and cardiovascular issues and a lot of other things. Besides all of this, we see that unbalanced work and family life. I would tell you from the perspective, I did a research about farmers' quality of life several years ago, and a few years ago, when we published that in a few journals. So I would tell you that unbalanced work and family life in the farm community, we see a lot of very common things. So I always encourage people to reflect. Basically, I'm not asking you to do this test right now, but just think about how do you deal with stress if you have one. So how aware are you about stress? How are you accepting that you are under stress right now? You have that a lot of little things that you need to manage. And did you have experience in the past, the way how you're coping with your skills? And how can you direct the energy to solve that issues? And what kind of action are you really applying in your life or daily life to working through that maybe difficult period of time in your life that relates to your work or in personal life? So at this point, I made some introduction to the stress, consequences of the stress, symptoms of the stress, and basically to encourage you to think through the basically look at it yourself and just raise that level of awareness and accepting that you have that issue, right? And let's discuss right now about is there possibility to manage that stress that we're experiencing in our life, and is there any way to control or at least help ourselves? So before to move forward with different strategies and tips, I would love to share with you the some background information that I found very useful. So many of us do not realize many often that our perceptions, or I would say our mental models, I usually talk a lot about mental models, our perception when I talk about one of my trust, managing for trust program. But it's amazing how our mental model, our perceptions of life, our background, and our religion, social economic status, our event in our previous, like in our different events in our life, basically affect our thinking style, right? And also attitudes, type of attitudes what we have can also contribute to our level of stress. And a psychologist, Dr. Albert Ellis, he discussed a lot about approach managing stress by understanding what causes stress. And later, this approach was adopted by Dr. Martin Seligman. He was a professor in the University of Pennsylvania and past president of the American Psychological Association. And Seligman's adapted version of that approach basically was published in his very, very famous book, what I have that in my hand right now. Just want to share that with you. It's called Learned Optimism. That book, I guess, was published 1990. So, and another great book, if you would like to learn more about this kind of stuff, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, was published by very famous professor, Dr. Robert Sapolsky, from, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they call Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. So it's really interesting how just learn more about this stress. But let's go back to the Dr. Seligman approach that he used, that ABC model, in that very specific technique, basically based on our exploratory style, right? And this is how we explain a difficult situation or stressful situation to ourselves across different dimensions related to permanence of the event, right? And how personal we take the situation, and these thoughts directly impact our beliefs about the event, ourselves, and basically in the world. So this technique pushes you to analyze three important aspects of a stressful situation. And the A is adversity. You see that in your screen, right? It could be any event that basically trigger situation that increasing your stress level. And B is your beliefs, your thoughts, your mental models, your perceptions about this situation. And C is consequences. So this is really important part. So based on your beliefs, based on how you explain the situation, what's happening with your way you are right now in the current moment, basically may affect or result to how you basically manage your stress, or the level of stress at least. So in his book, Dr. Seligman talked about that, how to change your mind in your life, basically talking about the importance to be more optimistic, because you must change your beliefs about yourself and the situation when facing adversity. So positive beliefs will in turn lead to the more positive consequences and a more positive outlook on life in general. So right now, I would love to invite you to go through some different activities with me. And if you remember in the beginning, I encourage you to be intentional when I provided some example about that some days things happen, right? Such as you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and you cannot find, for example, your car key. So let's utilize that approach, kind of calling monitoring your stress level. And let me explain to you. You see the table right now, and you see the time in the first column. Second is my stressors that was measured. You can measure that on the level of importance of the stress on them from 1 till 10. And my stress level that you can manage from level of 1 from 10. So it's two different things, right? Importance of that event that causes stress, the trigger, and your stress level. So here is it, 6 a.m. in the morning, you need to be somewhere, right? You have a lot of things to do and you cannot find your key. So, and you see in parenthesis number 2, so importance of this event on the level 2, because if you look in the past, just think about how many times you lost the key or you didn't remember where you put it from last night. So if you basically just be present in this moment and think about carefully about last night, let's say, where did you leave the key, and few options. So I believe that you will be very successful to finding your key. However, we don't think about this many often. That first, what we have, we just the stress level increase in them, and you feel annoyed and upset on the level 4 or 5. So when you look at this table, you will see the differences between the importance of that event, particular event, and your reaction through the level of stress that you're experiencing. And this is important that you acknowledge this. So many times people, because of probably not willingness to do something to help yourself, many times they say that they don't want to do this, it does not work or something. But I also met the people who try to implement, try to remind themselves, try to calm themselves down and think differently. and try to monitoring their reaction and explaining themselves what's happening right now, and I need to handle the situation differently, even from the simple reason that you already had many times this, you face that many times in your life, and you know that previously you handled that situation. So what is important right now, it is a confidence, okay? Even when you look at the literature, it tells us if you feel confident that you can manage your stress, you will feel less stressed. So right now, I would like that we do one exercise. I would encourage you to think about one of the stressful situation in your life. Maybe you are facing right now, or you faced in the past, but important that you understand the tool and can able to utilize that in the future if you need to. So think about them, like I said, one of the stressful situation, something that really bother you, okay? Let's put it like this way. And I would encourage you right now to think about three on your situation from this perspective. Like first, things that let's say yourself, you need to speak to yourself, things I can control, right? And let's say, because I'm doing this presentation in for farm community, I usually provide examples like, let's say, feel very isolated on the farm, right? Oh, especially when time during COVID-19 pandemic, you all were there. And for example, um, you for example can delegate some stuff to someone else, right? Or you're worrying about, let's say, keeping the farm and the family. You need to kind of manage that farm succession. So think about things that you cannot control. So something like, if that relates to agriculture, definitely it could be low commodities price, it could be weather condition, it could be farm related accident, right? That thing happen, you cannot do anything. Or maybe increased workload and it's harvest time and you have only 1 week to do that because it's going to be not a good weather after. So kind of peak season. That's why from the stress perspective right now, my doctoral student, we are working on the farmer stress and commitment to the agriculture, and it's going to be her doctoral dissertation. And I tell you that we look in specifically farmers who and we ask in demographic, we have in demographic questions, we have specific question related to their busiest season, because that's what really important in this case. And the third one is not sure. So not sure, it could be, something, let's say you're dealing, you have issues with some salesman, salesperson, you have some maybe some conflict, regular conflict, let's put it like this, with your spouse about spending, something that could be handled, during the discussion, or maybe tomorrow, or something like you have like started my presentation talking about having so many hats, wearing, doing so many things. So if you could able to think through all of this, I right now would encourage you to, let's do this great exercise and close your eyes and take a 3 deep breath. Let's do it with me. Just use this valuable great time while you are here. Let's do that together. Breathe in and breathe out. Close your eyes, please. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. And please follow my instruction. I would encourage you to choose a box. It could be oak box, it could be metal safe, it could be a large waist, dark gray metal box. Be very, very specific about size, shape, color, and texture of your box. Imagine labeling your box with descriptions such as, let's say, low egg commodity prices or yield loss due to weather condition, whatever it could be, whatever issues you are dealing right now in your professional or maybe personal life from perspective to learn this technique. And imagine putting all your worries and fears about the uncontrollable outcomes of your stress into the box. Visualize yourself packing them in, or see your worries as a stream of smoke, light, sand, or water that flows into the box or your container. It is important to give them the form that feels right to you. Once all your worries are in the box, imagine sealing it. You could use a lid, a lock, chains, plastic wrap, or all of above. It is up to you how to seal your box or container. When your container is sealed tight, imagine storing it somewhere. You could dip it underground, put it in the cave, store it in the attic, load it onto a boat, or send it into space in a rocket ship. Whatever you want to store it is okay. When your box is sealed and stored, imagine yourself walking away from it and back into your life. And let's do another 2 deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And you can come back and open it if you need to, but for now it's safely put away. So set an intention to focus your efforts and energy on the parts of your stressor that you can control. So thank you so much for doing this exercise with me. And right now you can open your eyes and go back to our Zoom room. And I will continue my presentation. One way is to build create a positive state of mind. I would encourage to think about the resilience plan, in which you basically become more proactive and engaged in different activities that help you to create different positive emotions. And sometimes people also ask me how to do it, and that's basically up to you. You can choose something in your life, something different, and put it in your schedule for just 20-30 minutes. And you will see how that might positively affect your basic life and decrease the stress level. So one of the examples that I provide and use it in my even workbook for participants, I encourage them, they create an interest simply through exploring and trying new things that help person integrate new information and expand your horizon, basically. Create joy through creative activities that will push the limits of your mind and problem-solving creativity. Let's say create engagement, right, through challenging tasks that can help you feel more confident, be more focused, and feel a sense of flow. So there is a lot of things that you can do for yourself. Another great approach to use, I would like to show you one of the good examples that I really like, is a positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. And I would like to apologize for advance, but I found one day, but I didn't remember where I found this information. But important things that I took a picture and encourage you to replace it's likely with it's possible exercise. And when you see there on your screen, and take this different approach, basically we're assessing the odds exercise, it's called, not dying in, let's say, in motor vehicle accident, 98.97%, not dying in the air travel accident, 99.99%, not dying in a tornado, 98% of people. So you saw not dying of cancer, 85.71%, not dying of heart disease, 83.33%. When you start to replacing the way how you think, that also could be another strategy to basically utilize in your life. That's why I decided to provide different strategies and tools. That's something that might work for you, might not work for another person, and you can utilize something that might work for you. However, right now I would like to tell a little bit about practice mindfulness. So in 1994, John Kabat-Zinn defined mindfulness as a way of paying attention purposefully and with non-judgmental acceptance to your present moment experience. And he created that MBCR training that I believe it's based on the University of Massachusetts or Connecticut. Several years ago, I took that training, just be aware about that. And it was about 9 weeks program. Later, I learned that even here at Penn State, they utilize that approach, and they have people who receive that certificate and also teach that for our graduate students and faculties as well. So, however, let's continue to talk about practicing mindfulness. So one of the important aspects here, so first one, adopt the stance of mindfulness toward your own experience, importantly in the present moment. Does not matter where you are. It is important to sit peacefully, examine your thoughts, your feeling, and your body sensation. That's basically telling you that our brain cannot do think two thoughts at the same time. We think we are multitasking, but a lot of past research telling that probably will increase the stress level, like we're saying earlier, a lot of things that we need to do at the little time basically increase the stress level. So when we get that understanding of this and give ourselves that little moment to basically acknowledge that present moment and examine your thoughts, even maybe no thoughts, even think about how you feel, think about the air, think about the temperature in the room. And I would actually encourage you to basically think about that and try to do this. And you will realize that you take that thoughts that were bothering before, it's kind of disappeared because you are at this moment and you kind of discovering, examining your feelings, your thoughts. You are the number one right now at this moment. So it is important to replace another approach, right? Number 3, you see, replace fear or any stress condition with a curious, gentle, and welcoming attitude free of judgment, self-blame, and aversion. So, and right now I would like to encourage you to do with me one exercise. It's called stop exercise. It's not necessary you can do it only when you stress. However, this is an absolutely wonderful, great approach to start your day with this. And I provide all the resources that I utilize at the end of this, in the end of my presentation. So you can find as well, follow this, the citations. So it basically will take probably 30-40 seconds even of your day in early morning. However, it will help you to start your day in more mindful manner. So again, I would encourage you, just stop whatever you're doing, right? You just please focus on for everything what I'm going to tell you right now. And it's nice to do again, close your eyes and utilize this time wisely and try do this with all of us today as a group, and stop whatever you're doing and bring your mind back to your present moment. Okay, close your eyes and let's do breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Just bring your mind back to the present moment. Think about how you feel in your room. Is it warm or chilly? Pay attention to your hands and feet, the air. And try to slow down your fight, flight, or freeze response. Even you are rushing, I have a lot of things this afternoon. Just observe, notice what you are feeling, thinking, and doing. Pay attention, what is going on with your body? Are there emotions? And try to describe them. Scared, angry, rush, tense. And try to stay in the moment with these feelings and breathe into them. Imagine sending your breath into the areas that feel tight in your body or activated by these feelings. When you are feeling sufficiently present and aware what's going on with your body, go about your business in a deliberate way. Continue what you were doing with a more mindful manner, and you can open your eyes again. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. So basically, telling you that breathing exercise creates space for anger and frustration and allow any person to avoid that tunnel vision that I mentioned in the beginning of my conversation. So let's say, like I mentioned that in earlier today, when farmer, let's say, get up in the morning and saw the frost right in the ground in the orchard, and of course it's stressed, and there is no good positive things might happen, and of course and let's say that's what I provided example also as one of the activity. Even you don't have time, even you are really rushed in your situation, like you was driving in your field and you see things happen right on the farm. Before getting out of your truck and be stressed and do things, just basically take and 3 more or 4 more long and deep breath. From my personal experience, when you're really experiencing very high level of stress, it's help really 15 minutes to do this. But this is like first response. I did like ask people to do 3, 4, 5 times, and think about find something really, really, really important in your life to be thankful for. Just something more than that, just this farm, something more important and valuable and important in your life, and be grateful in this moment. Be grateful, and I think this type of approach to help you basically just clear a little bit your mind and back to the present moment. And repeating this several times during the day or during the stressful moment, maybe in the day, to help you to basically be more mindful and help you to take time a little bit to step back and refocus. that help you to decrease a little bit stress level, better understand and be aware that you're experiencing stress and monitoring your reactions. And like I said, what's happening and why I am at this level of stress. Did I have previously the similar experience that I manage really nicely, right? I still manage the situation before. That's basically help you to increase your focus and reduce maybe some error, what you're doing. And another thing what I would like to right now to emphasize, it's importance of stay focused, right? Not many things at one moment. You just focus on one thing at the moment, one step at a time. So that help you to increase level of your concentration. It's decrease the stress level, and you will not skipping some steps of your project what you're doing, and you will be more efficient. And even it takes a little bit more time, like you think, because when we're doing like multitasking, we're always thinking I will do more work, but we basically not pay attention in some little details that might cause, when we specifically talk about agriculture, because this program manages stress on the farm, basically may negatively affect, like I said, on the farm injuries or secondary farm injuries, right? And later, just you can think and analyze and think about how you can do better. So another approach that I basically learned from one of the a presenter from National Agribility National Workshop, and I wanted to share that with you right now, with this audience, that creating worry-free zone. What is it? So choose a set of time and place for worrying. Okay, it should be the some time like you set up every day. It could be like, think about the place, which is important, right? It could be your living room, or it could be maybe honestly, we just an example, because I know we have like people from academia, right, and extension folks, and I met with one of my colleagues from another department because we just got a big grant, and I walk in her office and I saw like beautiful table and beautiful lamp, on the floor, and a nice couch with a good carpet. And I asked her, you have a wonderful room. And she said, no, that's how I have that place in day of time specifically that I manage the stress level. And I'm thinking, wow, that's just exactly what we discussed about National Agribility Workshop, about set up a worry-free zone. Yes, so I'm telling you, people doing it, maybe they do in different ways. But here was suggested just find a nice place in your office, maybe in your home, and one of the good time probably would be just between 5:30 p.m. because to set up this time in the early morning when you're really anxious, right? Like run and do a lot of things, or do it very late in the evening before bedtime, probably it wouldn't be nice time. Something like the second part of the day. And during that worry period, you are allowed to yourself to worry about whatever on your mind. And the rest of the day, you set up as a worry-free zone. So beside that help you to, again, increase, be more mindful and be more focused and present, and be kind of not skipping the task what you're doing. It help you to a little bit slow down, but at the same time be more efficient and plan things more ahead. And you are all being extension professionals, right? Doesn't matter you're in academia or you're a practitioner in the in extension organization. We all know that train your team members, let's say if we talk about farm and agricultural workers, is extremely important. The more better you train your personnel, the more you can delegate from the leadership perspective. So that is important to take all the things into consideration. And I didn't talk so much about rest and sleep, but that's going to be my last word. to you to share, because this is important. And sleep, exercise, rest, this is really important stuff. Even we all know, but not all of us practice this, that really help us to manage our stress level in our work, in our personal life. So I have a lot of extension publication besides peer review publications, but this is extension publications. When you can follow, just feel free to follow Penn State Extension website. Just put my first and last name. You will see a lot of publication related to leadership, and we put series of 3 extension articles related to stress management on the farm. We provided some extra tools there, so please feel free to check all of this information. And good news that I know that a lot of us working with Latina communities, and we provide this training for Latina farmers, Latina farm supervisors, many times here in Pennsylvania. And we translated a lot of leadership-related, personal leadership-related articles, including that series of stress management articles for Latina agricultural community as well. So at this point, I would like to be very respectful to the time. It's 1:57. We started a little bit later today because of technical issues, but here's some questions that you can reflect based on my conversation today and information. I really, really appreciate that you stayed with me and did all that activities. I think you will find that's helpful and you can implement that in your life. And here's a resource that helped me to put together this presentation. And here's a link. Please, I will share with you my PowerPoint presentation, and if you please find the 1-2 minutes to reflect and provide your feedback, I would be really, really grateful. Thank you so much. Here's my email address if you have any questions, or you would like me to do this type of training for your community, please never hesitate to reach out. I do that a lot across US. So like I said, I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Susanna. This was incredible. And might I say, you have a very soothing voice. So walking through the breathing exercises was wonderful. I think it's great for us, even in academia, to take a moment and stop. But thank you for providing some resources for us to possibly bring this into our communities and share this with others. So yes, I see some virtual claps. If you can give Susanna a round of applause and show your appreciation for her. Looks like Lauren, we have one question. We'll make it quick and then we will end our session for today. So Lauren, if you have your question, you can put it in the chat or unmute.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for today. I was actually trying to do the clap emoji, but I just happened to raise my hand. So
thank you.
Wonderful. Well, yes, claps all around. Sorry
thank you so
to
much.
call you out. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is heard. But again, thank you everyone for joining us for our first AIAEE virtual professional development presentation. At the start of the new year, we will be hosting some other virtual presentations. But again, Susanna, thank you for sharing your experience and your wisdom with us. And feel free to reach out to her with any questions. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you for being here with me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.